And here it is, the favourite time of your week, the favourite time of my week. 120 minutes of fatherhood, funk and foolishness. This is a Dadless Soul Extra Time show. I am, as always, Dan Flanagan, one of your hosts. I am joined today by a very special guest, the Jessica Fletcher to my Hercule Poirot, the Dempsey to my Makepeace, the Chris Lowe to my Neil Tennant.
Okay, good.
The Castle Grayskull hat to my Jaden Smith.
Wow, okay.
And the black fur coat to my Bianca Censuri, aka Mrs. Kanye West.
Wow. I mean, whoa, that has gone on a little cultural journey, hasn't it? Around all the houses, and I love it. And I believe the kids say, I'm here for it.
Well, if you're going to make it, just thinking how disappointed was Jaden Smith going, right, I'm going to rule this event. I'm just going to nip into my toy box, get hold of Castle Grayskull, pop it on my head, right? It's all going to be about me. Kanye turns up with his missus, says, look, just take your clothes off, love.
Yeah. And there you go. That's it. Publicity. That's how you do it. That is how you draw attention from other people. It's in A1 style. Well done to them.
Yeah, but thankfully, listeners, I am not going to take my clothes off, even though I do have a cracking pair of breasts.
I mean, the big news from all that was the fact that Billie Eilish wore a hat that was made with wool from a mill just down the road from where I live, 2 train stops away. So that's what was the big news in Yorkshire, was that she wore it from Abraham Moon. Every time I go to Leeds on the train, you go through Guiseley, and there is a little mill shop there where you can buy things. And basically, if you want to look like Billie Eilish, that's what you need to do. So that's where my attention's been, basically.
That's probably all the attention of our listeners in America for Face Radio as well. Wool hats under all of those lights. What happened if it rained and then it shrunk?
No, good, absolutely good point. You know, you need to think about these things. I don't think Billie did she? So
silly Billy.
Silly Billy, indeed. Yes. I mean, and I get it though. I get it. I like to wear a sort of tweed type coat, and I like to do that even when the weather's not great, because it's Yorkshire and it's never great here. But there's the risk that you pay every time is that you're going to shrink your lovely jacket that you managed to get hold of.
How is your contract going with the Yorkshire Tourist Board? By the way, just say, yeah, it's rubbish here. It rains all the time. You've not thought this through, have you?
Well, I'd like fewer people to come, to be honest. I mean, I know that they quite like it, but it's it gets a bit busy. I want to go to Malham Cove. It's a beautiful, natural tourist attraction and landmark, but it's always so busy. I never at any point, especially in the summer, when I'm going out and about with the kids, do I think, oh, it'd be really lovely to try and drive through the Yorkshire Dales behind 72 caravans, going as slow as is humanly possible, to go to a place where you can't park, and then you have to queue up for an hour to go to the loo. And then if you want to get a cream tea, good luck. That's not going to happen because they'll be sold out.
You feel triggered. Well, I feel triggered just listening to that amount of stress that you are carrying.
And I feel bad as well, because you're the one who lives in a seaside town. Like, it must be terrible for you in the summer as well.
No. We are lovely because we are just along the coast from Brighton. Brighton gets all of the idiots and the tourists. We don't tend to get many tourists since about 1950.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, we get a few, but there's never, the beach is never packed. It's never crazy. It's never, horrible stag doos and hen doos and stuff. So there is always a space to go and wander and find your thoughts. But it is lovely because you come out and go, wow, you see the sunrise and stuff. Think, oh, I live in a place where people come on holidays, but not many people.
No,
it's cheaper to go to Spain than it is to probably try and park around here.
I always think that I guess you don't, when you go on holiday somewhere, you don't really look at the sort of day-to-day things, because there's a few sort of like caravan site and holiday places near here. And I always think, oh, what a boring place, because I live here. And I know it's beautiful and it's really nice, and I understand why they come here. But I obviously see the mill shops and the the industry and my local co-op where I go and get a pint of milk or whatever. Whereas they're here and they're going, oh my God, we're only about 5 minutes away from Bolton Abbey, which is beautiful, and all these other sort of things. Oh, we could go into Leeds, the exciting city of Leeds. And for me, Leeds is like, oh, I need to go there because I need to return something I bought.
Again, this is not the script for the tourist board, is it?
Yeah.
Come to Leeds so you can return stuff.
Or break your toe. That's what I did in Leeds at the weekend, I think.
You broke your toe?
I think I have done, yeah.
What, were you street dancing or what was going on there?
Well, I wish it was that. I laid the groundwork early on in the day by stubbing my toe a couple of times, which was bad and it hurt. And you stub your toe, within 5 minutes, it's fine again. I stubbed mine.
Not at your age.
No, well, exactly. And it was still hurting through the day. And I thought, oh, this isn't great, but hopefully it's going to go. It wasn't impinging on my day. Then I went into Leeds. Basically, I was a monkey boy for my wife's business on Saturday. My parents were here to look after the kids. And she was like, oh, you can come and help me. I was like, oh, do some more work. Oh, yeah. Okay, fine. And she sort of has a part of a vintage shop in the beautiful Corn Exchange in Leeds. It is a gorgeous place.
That is something for the tourist board. If you're coming into Leeds, go to Jill's shop.
Yes, exactly. Definitely do. I really do need to be positive about that one because otherwise I will get in trouble. So it was quite busy. There was like a little craft fair that was going on outside where their shop was. So it was very busy. And I was carrying a big box of vintage treasure. And I happened to, in a crowd, walk into an A-frame, a very solid wooden A-frame advertising thing with the toe that I had already hurt. And I don't know. I've never broken a bone previously. I don't know if it is yet. No doctor has looked at it yet. But it is the worst pain I've ever felt. It feels weird to say that from just stubbing it a few times in the course of a day. A little, like a toe, it's just to the side of my little toe. I was absolutely in agony, and I was trying to just not really swear very loudly in public, but it really hurt.
Did you not get a sticker or a lollipop for being a brave boy and not swearing?
No.
You're an ouchie, and if you have an ouchie, you get a sticker if you're a good boy.
No, what I got was a security guard pretty cross with me because I'd kicked this A-frame and something had fallen off it. And he was like, oh, I'll sort it out. I was like, yes, please do. Struggling here.
Are you able to walk properly afterwards, or are you hobbling like a gangster?
I'm hobbling. So I was really hobbling on Saturday.
Yeah.
I thought it was getting a bit better yesterday, and now it's got kind of worse today. And I wanted to go for a run today, and I can't. And yeah, I did look up how do you know if it's broken or just bruised. And yeah, I can't. It's a little numb in some places and a little painful in the other places. And that sounds a little bit broken. But I shall.
Sounds a little bit pathetic, if I'm honest.
Yeah, and it really is. It's annoying. It's more annoying than I'm not going to play the sympathy card. I might have worried.
You're not going to get any. Just get on with it. You should have been running this morning. You're just looking for excuses.
Yeah, exactly. So I am going to seek medical attention tomorrow.
No, I've had foot-related injuries. It was a couple of years ago. I was on the sofa after a shower, drying off, and I've got a habit of putting one leg under the other. And I got up and I didn't realise my leg was dead. So I put the weight on it. It gave in and my ankle actually cracked. Face-full onto the floor, right? And I live on my own most of the time.
Oh,
so
no.
I was naked.
Yeah.
And I managed to get up. Thought, it's probably just a bit sore. Got over to my girlfriend's. I did put my clothes on, obviously.
Good.
Her next door neighbour was there, who's a nurse. She said, you need to get to A&E. Basically, yeah, I'd cracked it. And that was getting off of the sofa.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Not just A-frame, you were doing something for love, for the family business. I just got off the sofa.
You got off the sofa and managed to absolutely...
Had an adult fall.
Oh, no.
It was...
not something you want to admit, is it? You should have said that you got beaten up.
I did to a lot of people. There were some big boys and some ninjas involved in the tale that I told, but now, I feel righteous that I told the truth. It's, yeah, just put some clothes on straight after the shower in case you have a fall. Somebody has to, I need one of those red cords that we were talking about the other week. I panic. It's going to come. Somebody comes in to rescue me, and they're just going to see me pink and wrinkly,
Oh no,
crying on the floor.
We're at an age where it is had a fall as well, isn't it? It's not fallen over; it's had a fall. Oh my gosh! Oh, how embarrassing!
It's not nice. The other big news was you had a birthday, didn't you?
I did have a birthday, yes.
How was that? Did you get the bumps? Did you get a cake? Did the whole town stop and worship you like it should have happened?
No. I did get some cake. There was cake.
Yep.
So we decided, oh God, this is also like an age thing, right? Back in the day, go out all day drinking, worry lads and whatever.
Yep.
Thursday, me and my wife, she took the day off her work and that, and we walked over to Ilkley, which is like about 3 miles that way, and over like a big moor, Ilkley Moor, famous from the song On Ilkley Moor Batat. And it is a lovely walk. You go up, it's quite a steep thing. You go along, you go down again. We had some delicious food. I also realized that my walking boots were a bit knackered. So I thought, birthday treat, I'll go and sort out some new walking boots. So I went to a shop, bought some, put the others in the bin, put them on to walk back with cakes from a Yorkshire establishment called Betty's, which is that is another place that's a big tourist trap.
This is being edited, just all the good bits of Yorkshire just for the previews.
Yeah. It's such a weird thing, right? It's a really old-fashioned sort of tea room, and they really play on that kind of, everything's like how it used to be in the olden days. Little sandwiches and cream teas. And they do amazing cake, but there's about 4 or 5 of them across Yorkshire, and the queues outside in all weathers to go and have your lunch. The afternoon tea is nice. The lunch is not. You're fine. They're fine. They're fine. It's not the best food you'll find in Yorkshire. Not even the best food you'll find in Ilkley, right? But the queues, just because they're so popular, there's always massive, massive queue. I'm like, I cannot imagine queuing for that long for my lunch because I will be very angry by the time we get there. Hangry, indeed. But anyway, so walk back, halfway back, with cake in my bag, my new walking boots broke. So that was not ideal. But
you broke new boots, or they broke because there was something wrong with them?
I think they broke because there's something wrong with them. They had a 2-year warranty.
Yeah.
They didn't last 2 hours. And that's probably the worst turnaround I've ever had on anything I've ever bought ever. Was
it because somebody asked you how high you could jump or how fast you can run in your new trainers? Because that used to happen. Yeah. Oh, we got this. How fast can you run? That's what happened. You tried to run, you tripped over, stubbed your toe, which is actually the true of the story, isn't it? Because you're going off, right? And
on a moor, Rocky Moor,
Rocky Moor. That's like a Yorkshire boxer, isn't it?
Yeah. Definitely. It's so funny you say that about that. Like, my son got some new trainers last week and he did exactly that. He just keeps like running up and down going, these are so fast. I'm like, are they any different? I don't know.
But yeah, it's magic. They can do it. You can jump higher. There's get them in a puddle, see how they work.
Yeah.
But then they're nice. They're not nice and new anymore. Actually, completely random. I was watching my lad play football yesterday, and it was cold and it was wet, and there was a fella stood beside me, and he had bright white trainers on, and a little jacket, and he was freezing. You didn't think this through, mate. There's me with like 4 pairs of thermals on there, long johns, coat, big walking boots. His white trainers were not white by the end of the session.
No, what a part-timer. Come on. Kids football, that is like your scruffiest, dirtiest, horriblest shoes. And then, as many layers as you can get on.
14 flasks.
Like, even in summer, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we didn't think. But did you have a nice birthday after all of the foot catastrophe? So this is what the boys and girls at home need to know.
Yeah, it was lovely actually, and then it was quite a sort of low key actual day. But then because I knew I had other things to come, and then we just went home. Kids had the tea, we got a takeaway, watched Elvis, the Baz Luhrmann biopic. We were talking about biopics last time, weren't we?
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Jill didn't so much, because it's slightly odd in that it's not a very personal story. It's like it's like a Baz Luhrmann version of Elvis's life, which it literally is.
Yeah.
So it's not, how some biopics are really personal and really look into the human character. That's not what Baz Luhrmann really does, particularly with those things. So it's more of like kind of shiny music video for 3 hours. And I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a more interesting story about Elvis to tell with a bit more depth and emotional richness, I guess. But I still really
The darker side. But the actor is a very handsome boy, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
You get lost in those eyes.
Oh, absolutely. And I guess that was the effect that Elvis had as well when he was, back in the day, and young, he did the same thing. And it was, he had the same sort of, he didn't look exactly like him, but they had the same sort of magnetism, I guess.
Yeah.
And it did obviously touch a lot on the dark side, but not the reasons behind it really, or the feelings behind it. So
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching that, but yeah, I would also like to see sort of a bit more of a gritty version. I've read there's these, what's the bloke? In fact, the book's probably here. Actually, right to the side.
Here's one I preferred earlier.
It really is here. Here you go. Peter Goralnik's Last Train to Memphis and Careless Love. It was on the,
that's an annual, wouldn't it? Jesus
yes.
Christ.
Now, if you are interested in Elvis, what I would say is you only need 1.5 of these. So the first one is like his rise to fame and everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely fascinating, amazing. The second one is when we get into the more troubled Elvis, fascinating. The last half of the second book just lists of everything he eats, and that is not interesting at all. After the first, page or two of it, it just goes into a list of this is what he ate, this is what he then ate, and it's
a lot of prescription drugs, probably.
Yes, essentially, yeah. But so I kind of knew a lot of the Elvis stuff as well. I'd like to see, I think there's Priscilla. There's a film in the Priscilla, which sort of sees it from Priscilla's point of view, because they did also gloss over a lot of the challenging facts about his relationship with Priscilla.
What's the fact that she was a child?
Yes, that's one of the big challenging facts, and also his hideous coercive control as well as grooming. So, there is another story to tell.
Yeah, it's kind of, you put these people on a pedestal and they're human beings, and there is a dark side to them.
Yes.
Which is intriguing. But does it take away from the magnetism? I remember talking to my dad about all this, because at that time, he was a teenager, and they were coming out of post-war, and everything was dark and grey and whatever. And literally, Skiffle came along, and then Elvis, and it to try and explain the magnetism and the huge effect that it had on these young people. It changed things, sort of overnight. It's incredible. And I remember Elvis's funeral, and I've worked out that I was 3 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I remember sitting there watching it on the TV. I had a little red and black dressing gown like a teddy boy, and my hair in a quiff. Do not know how I knew about Elvis, but somehow I knew about Elvis, and I can remember watching his funeral. But don't really like the music.
Wow.
But I imagine, I appreciate the cultural moment, or the blast that he just put into the world and changed everything.
Yeah, and I think we could all do with remembering when we start to idolize, when we start to idolize people, which we do in all sorts of different areas of life, is that it is very rare for someone to be completely golden. There's a lot of people have things that they've done which are horrible to more or less extent, obviously. And also the other way around as well. If we try and villainize someone, it's like, well, someone's not just completely a villain. Now, of course, it's not saying that
the people we're not allowed to mention on this show because it goes out in America.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But also not to, not that like Elvis doing all, the cultural stuff that he did makes it okay for him to do terrible things.
Yeah.
But you have to remember those two things remain true. He was a cultural phenomenon that did amazing things, but he was also, in another way, a terrible person who did terrible things.
A flawed human being.
A flawed human being. And we're literally all of us are flawed human beings. But that's why the nature of adulation, and you see it a lot with politicians, of course, which we're not going to go into too much, but people from all sides of the political debate will absolutely put all of their stock behind a certain person. And then when it turns out that certain person is a fallible human being with flaws, they will not go, oh, okay, he shouldn't have done that, but I still like the way he does this. They will just go, no, it's okay for him to do it because he's allowed. And you start advocating for people doing terrible things because you don't want to back down and go, yeah, okay, he's not 100% brilliant like I thought he was.
But Boris was a man of the people. Come on. I'd love him to have a pint with us because he knew what was going on. That's topical for you, isn't it?
I'm not sure Boris Johnson knows what's going on from 1 minute to the next, but I don't think he minds particularly.
He's got a big payday. Less about the politics. You have a little musical interlude because this is actually feeds in quite nicely, I suppose, to the politics. There is so much separatism in the world. There is so much hate, and I was considering that over the weekend, and this song popped up, and it just reminded me of a better time and a better way where young people took control and broke down those social barriers.
Mm-hmm. Specials.
The Specials. Do nothing.
My only call.
So the specials, Do Nothing, beautiful song. For those watching the video, great. Terrible outfits, Christmas jumpers. So there's obviously a Christmas episode, but they were so cool, the specials and all of that two-tone thing. But did they make those Christmas jumpers look cool? And can we see a renaissance of that bad fashion, Jim?
I have to admit, I was quite enjoying the knitwear.
and the strides, those checks look like tweed strides that you'd probably rock, wouldn't you?
Yeah. No, I did like those.
You're still in dead stock from 1973 for most things anyway, aren't you?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, let me have a look. Oh, in fact, actually, today I'm dressed relatively modern today. I got this shirt. I got a green corduroy shirt that I got off Vinted. That would ridiculously expensive when it was in the shop, not ridiculously expensive when someone decided to sell it, having never worn it before. It still had the tags in. That's what I love about buying stuff off the internet. The only annoying thing is I got it and my daughter went, that's like something Uncle Dave would wear. And I don't he's my brother. I don't want to dress like my brother. Yeah, I don't want to be told that I'm copying my brother's style. So she was grounded for a week.
Is he younger than you?
He's younger than me, yeah.
Yeah, he's the younger, better looking, cooler one, isn't he? So if you're dressing like Uncle Dave, I would take that as a thing. Or was that your mum telling you?
Yeah.
You're dressing like my favourite child. Good work, Jim.
Oh my God, it's quite tough, isn't it? You've got to go a whole lifetime not showing a preference. It must be difficult because my brother's not going to watch this, so it doesn't matter. We were every year we make my mum and dad a calendar for the next year. So with pictures of the collective kids, on every month, and we take it in turns. So it was my brother's turn this year. The year before it was my turn, and while my brother was there, I gave my mum the calendar. She had a look through, and she just went, "Well, this is the best one yet." And I was like, "Yes." Like, in your face. What are you going to do next year, mate? You've got 12 months to work and try and get better than that, but that's the best one ever. And it was mine.
Yeah, that's what she said to you. She did say the same thing to him as well.
Yeah, quite possibly. Yeah, okay. But
you are my favourite. Just don't tell anybody.
Yeah, that's what you have to do, isn't it? That is what you have to do. Running as a fart.
So this is the Face Radio. We're out on LinkedIn. We're out on Facebook. We're out on TikTok. The Dad the Soul Extra Time Show. And this date, or this week, I suppose, love is in the air. I can't remember the rest of the words.
I think it is in the air for about 3.5 minutes, doesn't it?
Yeah, then you realise, I can't be arsed. Too busy falling off the sofa.
Mm-hmm.
Marty, Valentine's Day, do you celebrate? How do you keep the romance alive in a long-term relationship? And I'd like to delve a little bit deeper into Valentine's Days of the past, when you were a young wee whippersnapper. So where do you want to start with this line of therapy, Jim?
Okay, this Valentine's Day coming up, just to tell you where we are in our relationship. So we met in 2001. So we've been together 24 years. And we've been married.
Did your eyes meet across the dance floor? Or was it at a jumble sale where you were carrying a box and you stubbed your toe and then Jill came through in her roller boots and rescued you, picked you up under a roller derby stick thing?
I mean, this is a beautiful story, and I wish that was the case. It's just at work, just made it work. Yeah. We had an office romance that we kept quiet for.
Was it scorned upon? Were you breaking protocol by snogging in the storeroom and photocopying and stuff?
There was nothing official, but it was like, let's not go public with this. I mean, maybe she was embarrassed. I don't know. Could have been. That could have been the case.
She said, "No, I've read the HR manual." She said, "We're not allowed to say." No, oh God! If the girls at work in the typing board find out I've been snogging.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I mean, I was working freelance then. They were paying me £35 a radio show that I was doing, so they could sod off. Basically.
She thought, on that sort of money, he's a keeper.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she's obviously not materialistic, so that's good. And And yeah, so it was nice. We were working in Primrose Hill, so we used to go off to Primrose Hill for lunch together. I mean, people must have known, right?
Yeah.
Like, why are they always off at lunchtime together? And that was nice. It's a beautiful part of London where you can go up to the top of a hill, Primrose Hill, and look out over Regent's Park and then the city and stuff like that. It was good. It was nice. So we've been together a long time, right?
Yes.
We've had a lot of Valentine's days together. We've had a lot of lovely Valentine's days together. It's been very nice.
We've had a lot of lovely ones, so I really can't be asked now. Is that what you're going to say?
It is not that I can't be asked, right? This Friday,
Mm.
when it is Valentine's Day,
Yeah.
normally we'd do something. Now, it might not be a big thing. We might not go out because, have you tried getting a babysitter on Valentine's Day? So we might just get some nice food in, watch a film, do something like that.
Yeah.
We're not doing that this year. This year, we will be celebrating Valentine's Day in a family room at the Travelodge at Toddington Services on the M1.
Whoa, player.
Mm.
You've just ruined it for all of the dads listening. Jesus Christ, Jim's pulled out all the stops.
Yeah.
We are just going to fade into obscurity with that sort of pressure on us.
Well, I tell you what, if you want to emulate that, we booked the room a week or so ago. It was not booked up for Valentine's night. For some reason, I don't know why, there were still vacancies. But there you go. So for Christmas, my mum and dad bought us a trip to Legoland, which the kids are going to absolutely love. They will really much enjoy that. They'll have a great time. But it's quite far away from where we live. Yep. So what we're doing is we've got tickets for Saturday and Sunday. So after school Friday, we're going to drive basically as far as is possible without the kids exploding with like pent up energy from having been at school all day and then straight into a car. And apparently we're like an hour or so away from Legoland. So
that's the other side of the car park.
Yeah, it might as well be. Yeah. And so so that's what we're doing. Rather than go down on the Saturday morning like for a 5-hour journey before we get to a theme park, we're going to stay most of the way down there, and that was the cheapest option available.
That seems. Am I right? Is there 2 Legolands, or is just the one? Because if it's the one, then I've been there, and it was quite a distance for us to go as well. I remember.
I think there's only one, but yeah, it's like west of London, northwest of London, I think, which is nowhere near where I live. So yeah, hence on Valentine's night, we're going to be in a motorway services travel lodge, which I mean, I don't know what it's going to be like. I imagine it won't be the most romantic experience we've ever had.
I don't imagine many poems, books, or songs have been written about romantic tete-a-tetes in, did you say Toddington stations?
I think it is. I can't really remember. It's on my email somewhere. Toddington sounds about right.
I would suggest checking that detail before you set off.
We've definitely
sounds about right. Toddington.
We've booked something somewhere at some point.
My kids will explode because I didn't read the email and I've gone off to Western Supermare instead.
So actually, we're just going to be in a lay-by in the car, freezing and shivering, which is probably more romantic than the Travelodge in the services, to be perfectly honest. So we would normally do something.
Yeah.
Even this many years, and it's nice. It's just an excuse, isn't it? I mean, it's not like our whole romantic lives are based around that one day a year, but it's a nice day to just take the time, like everything, like Father's Day and Mother's Day.
Yeah,
we're celebrating fathers and mothers all the time, but it's a nice day, a reminder to do it. You can eat pancakes every day, but no one does. They only have them on Pancake Day, don't they? So. Yeah. Once again,
is it a cliche though? Is it because I always see the weekend where Valentine's is on a Saturday night. You'll see blokes queuing outside Tiffany's or Pandora's,
and
all nipping down the garage for really expensive bunches of flowers that are going to last. Like it's tacky. It's too obvious, right? Get her a couple of bunches of flowers a few days beforehand. Save yourself 50 quid, right? And then she can show it off to the people at work and feel special rather than going, right, it's there. Somebody has shown me a token of affection. with no imagination.
Yeah, okay. You can definitely go into that trap. I mean, I prefer to see it as, we'll make an effort to do something together. Not this year. Well, we will do something together this year. We'll have the kids there as well. Brilliant. There is a lot of like just spending for the sake of it, isn't there? And there's a lot of like, oh, here's some tat that someone has created for this. But like, we should probably be moving away from novelty gifts anyway. In general, I don't want to be like a boring eco warrior about it, but I'm quite a boring eco warrior. So
but that's where you get edible pants.
Yeah, no, true. Yeah, so you've got food and a gift, and there's nothing left to go to landfill. So
exactly. So forward planning.
Good.
Follow me for more love tips.
Good point. Well made. The eco suggestion is modelled by Swampy.
Mind you, that's probably a preference to me and thee.
Yeah, could well be. Who knows?
So it's hard though, isn't it? To try and keep the spark alive in a long-term relationship, you have to make an effort because it's so easy. Oh, I can't bother to, and you just don't, and then the rot sets in.
Yeah, so there's like a middle ground, isn't there, between just not doing anything and just like desperately grabbing the first thing you see in the supermarket and throwing money at the problem. So there's that bit in the middle where you do something meaningful.
Yeah,
you don't feel like you have to go and spend hundreds of pounds on it or whatever.
I think it just takes a little bit of thought.
Yeah, that's it.
I saw this, I thought of you.
Yeah,
that's it. Not I saw this and then I felt need to go and spend £50,000 we don't have on a needless gesture or a product, something like that.
Are you setting this up because you've not done anything?
No. We've decided not to.
Right.
But because I'm a contrary mofo, so we go, okay, don't need to do anything. It's fine. We're 6 years in, so it's fine. It's still quite young. And we're going away on a big holiday. So it's like, we'll put the money into that. But then I saw something that's an event next month. So I booked tickets for that. And I said, look, it's your Valentine's surprise. She said, well, you said we're not going to do anything. I said, yeah, we've agreed that we're not doing anything. I didn't agree that I'm not going to do anything. So I'm going to do it because I love you. So I said,
wow. Is this the first time someone's got into trouble for doing something romantic? I mean, got into trouble for doing something romantic with a person they're meant to be doing something romantic with.
No, I think she understood, and she's put up with me and my ADHD, so I can make a decision, and then 2 seconds later, completely forgot that I've made a decision, book something. It's going, it will still be a nice evening out.
Yes, we'll still have a nice time. Well, there you go.
So, and it's not on Valentine's night, so it'll be a few weeks ahead when it's cold and dark and we're skint. Oh, we've still got this thing that I brought then to look forward to.
You see, that I think is the key, right? Is having something to look forward to. Yeah. We've managed to book a load of things in to look forward to, and it's really good because every time you're just like, it's great and horrible. You just think, but in a couple of months we're going to be doing this and this and this.
Yeah, we're going on a holiday, so that gives me 3 months to find the passports.
Too soon. Yeah. You reminded me though, I do need to get a new passport for myself. Mine's run out.
See, this is another public service announcement, not for the 200,000 listeners across the world, mainly for Jim.
Yeah. So if people don't know, 2 years ago now, 2023 in the summer, we were all set to go to Disneyland Paris. We'd saved up for that. We were going to spoil the kids. And it was the day that we were recording this very podcast. I thought in the morning, I will go and have a quick look, just check the passports. Could not find my daughter's passport anywhere. And to this day, still have never found it. So, which I'm kind of happier about. Because if it had turned up like 3 weeks later, that would have been annoying because we cancelled it and had to go for a day out to Durham where you have to go for a meeting to see why you should get another passport. And then we have to
the alternative story is your daughter hasn't forgiven you because the three of you went on a really lovely holiday and she had to stay home and mind the cat.
Just crying.
Yeah. It was your passport. You could have been responsible. You want all this independence, young lady.
Yeah.
This is what happens.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Child line, my parents have left me again.
Yeah, Kevin McAllister. Okay, yeah, stop bothering us. We know. Kevin! So yeah, anyway, we had to delay the holiday and lost a lot of money on rebooking things. So
but you had a lovely holiday. You made it all up to them anyway.
We did. We did have a lovely time in the end, and yeah, it was nice. So there you go.
Okay. Musical interlude.
Let's do it.
Go on, and let's have a little bit of love in the air. So please, can we have the Fine Young Cannibals version of Ever Fallen in Love?
Hurry up. I don't want to miss the beginning. You've already seen it 4 times.
It was pretty funny, don't it? The way you had me going back there.
I'm Lulu.
Charles, pleased to meet you.
Valentine's Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the first time in 20 years that I've not had a card from my secret admirer.
Oh.
And my gran's died, right? Could the year get any worse? Sorry, some disrespect. My friend passed away many, many years ago.
I mean, you say that, but when I was at university, I did actually used to get occasionally Valentine's cards from my nana.
Oh,
it was a lovely thing for her to do, but there is nothing that makes you feel worse on Valentine's Day than the only card you get is from an 80-year-old relative.
With a book token in it.
Yeah. Like, no card would be less bad than only one card, and it's from your nana.
But that's when you're a teenager, I suppose. But I got an email from my son's school, right? They were quite good with their newsletters, but and they said start a love affair with a book. So basically, you send a Valentine's message to a book that you like, and then somebody gets to choose it, which I think is a really lovely way. And I was thinking back at primary school, they used to come in with a sack of Valentine's cards, right?
Yes.
That you'd all have to make, and then all the popular kids would just get loads, and then you'd just be waiting and waiting and waiting to see if you got any. And if you didn't get any, it was mortifying and publicly humiliating. Thankfully, things have moved on.
Yeah, like to do that, to be able to like compare your pile of cards against someone else is brutal, right?
Yeah, it's a really bad popularity contest. But yeah, it was. Yeah, it's hard. Love is hard, even throughout the years. But do you remember the first time that you fell in love, Jim? Or was it unrequited? Was it?
Yeah.
The butterflies and that, tell the boys and girls at home, expose your inner gymnast.
Yeah.
Gymnast.
My gymnicity. Yeah. I do remember. God, I remember there was a girl at school. I think she might have been in a higher year or something.
Yeah.
And I just remember, I mean, I must have been like 7 or 8 or something.
Yeah.
And I just, you don't really know what it is, but you're just like, I'm finding myself very drawn to her. And
you went like this when you were 7 or 8. I find myself drawn to her.
Yeah, like stroking my chin, going, I don't know why I feel a bit funny whenever she's around.
Yeah.
But I did. And then she ended up buying our house. Well, no, she didn't. Obviously, she was a child. But her parents ended up buying our house. And I remember that being quite exciting because there was a legitimate reason to talk to her. But obviously, we were 7 or 8 or whatever.
Yeah.
We didn't do anything. I didn't even really properly talk to her properly. And then we moved away, and I have no idea what she did after that. Can't even remember her name or anything or what she looked like. Just vaguely remember that I was obsessed in the way a 7 or 8-year-old child is obsessed and then goes on to something new. But it was certainly sort of like, oh yeah, this is the first time that I've ever really had that sort of feeling. And then, yeah, it was weird that they bought our house.
Can I suggest the reason you haven't heard from her is because when they moved in, she moved into what was your old bedroom, and then she saw all the pictures of her.
Yeah.
You'd created this kind of, stalker wall.
The shrine.
Yeah. And then she realised, Jesus Christ, this is scary.
It's funny, if you listen to the Richard Herring's Leicester Square Theatre podcast, is well worth a listen if you like comedy and you like hearing from comedians. But
yeah,
he tells the story sometimes of how back when he did it, they did a show called Stuart Lee did a show called Fist of Fun, and in it the Richard Herring character, which I imagine not that different from the Richard Herring of real life, was obsessed with Julia Sawalha from Press Gang at the time, and had a shrine to her and lots of things. And there were lots of like jokes about him, kind of kidnapping her and taking her away. It was the 90s. It was a different time. And
completely okay.
Yeah. But apparently years later, he worked on something and cast her in it as well. And so they ended up working together. She had no idea that this had happened at all. And then someone brought it up when they were having like a kind of after work drinks, and she was a little bit freaked out apparently by the fact that he'd had this whole previous obsession with her on the television, on the BBC as well,
and told everybody about that's long-term commitment from his perspective though. Wait till he's in a position of power to actually bring her close.
Yeah, I mean, that is how it works. But it's quite good if you listen, because recently, in the last few months, actually, he has had her on the show and interviewed her, and they've chatted about it. And it was a really lovely, because a lot of times you split up with someone and it's acrimonious and it's horrible. Clearly, there was still a lot of respect between them, but also some unresolved things where
They had a relationship as well.
they went on to have a relationship. Oh yeah, sorry.
Whoa.
So after she found out about that, they went on to have a relationship. Then and then many years ago, and there is an episode where recently he interviews her about it. Well, not about it, just about her career and everything. But they do talk about that a lot, and it's fascinating to listen to because it's like, what do you remember about your relationships from 20 years ago? How do you view it? How does the other person view it? How do you reconcile the fact that you maybe didn't do the right thing at certain times?
Yeah.
And but also to come out of it with a sort of mutual respect for each other still. And it's not like his normal interviews. But it's well worth having a listen to. I would recommend.
Yeah, having somebody on your wall and then having a relationship with it. You know, that's apparently what Kate did to Will.
Right.
She had a poster of him, if you believe the stories.
Okay.
And the stalky one is Grease, the film Grease. Apparently, the guy that I think he played Kaniki, he was absolutely obsessed with Olivia Newton-John.
No
years
way.
He could not speak when he was around her, and he ended up marrying her sister.
Oh no! Oh wow! Oh wow!
Yeah. Isn't it? That this up. I'm sure the sister was very lovely.
Yeah,
but yeah, awkward.
Yeah, just a little bit. Well,
let's love this. Put other famous people's problems out there that they've forgotten about.
Yeah, let's dig up that. I mean, if I'm going to marry someone who had on my walls when I was a child, then Paul Gascoigne, I'm going to marry him at some point.
That would probably be a lot of fun. He could take you fishing. You could hang out with Ralmo. There's loads of things that you could do. Too soon?
Too soon, yeah.
Yeah, sorry again for our American listeners. Got no idea what we're going on about, but troubled people.
Although you say that I have listened to an American podcast. What was it? I can't remember what it's called, but they do like sort of celebrity scandal things.
Yeah.
And there was one about Paul Gascoigne. And I was like, I don't know who's going to listen to this from America, but fine. But it was really Americanized. In the soccer cup, Paul Gascoigne. It was so strange to hear this story about Paul Gascoigne in like this kind of glitzy American way. And they did touch on his, basically, if you don't know, there was basically a murderer on the run, and the police had cornered him and were trying to get close to him. And Paul Gascoigne, a very troubled footballer who had some personal issues, turned up with some chicken, wasn't it? And a fishing rod, saying, I know him. Let me go and have a chat with him. He didn't know him. They didn't let him go and have a chat with him.
He was utterly, I've seen the interview with Gascoigne. He was exceptionally troubled, and he was addicted to loads of substances at the time. And yeah, in the session, he saw it and he was convinced that he did know him and he wanted to help. So it was there from a place of goodness, but an exceptionally troubled soul.
But the good thing is, I think from hearing things recently, I think he's getting help for what he needs. So, and I think he's doing a lot better. Is Paul Gascoigne.
I would like to hear he was a good boy. Again, for our American listeners, we've just wandered down a thing. Love is in the air. Still, love in the air. Give me, please, the secret to an ideal Valentine's night if money was no object.
Okay. It's just got to be something that you're both interested in, right?
No, it'd be purely selfish. They can just hold your coat.
Well, I mean, I don't want this to sound cheesy or anything.
Yeah.
But if it's just me enjoying myself, I don't think I would really enjoy. I'd enjoy the thing, but also I'd still be going, it's probably not ideal. So we went to the best thing that we did, I think, on Valentine's night in the past was there is a singer that we both absolutely love, and he's like a proper crooner. I mean, a lot of his songs are about heartbreak rather than love in a positive way, but still, he's called Micah P. Hinson, and he's this just amazing bloke. Fascinating fella. Also kind of troubled, I think, a little bit. And he happened to be playing when I lived in Birmingham. He was playing in the city on Valentine's night, and it was because we'd both really loved like his last previous albums. It was just like the best sort of coming together of fortuitous stuff. So we got to go for a lovely meal before and went to see this like amazing show, and it's like kind of really nice sort of acoustic gorgeousness. And it was slightly ruined by the fact that there were a couple of people in the crowd who were making fun of his quite deep South American accent. And I don't know why they turned up. I think they just wandered in from somewhere and they had to have them chucked out in the end. But yeah, it was just a fortuitous time that it happened to be Valentine's night as well. So we went and enjoyed that. So I guess for me, it is like a bit of a cliche. It's a bit of a kind of soppy answer, but it's just got to be something that you both really enjoy and you can enjoy together. And it's got that little extra special frisson because it's Valentine's night as well.
Is it like going to Betty's for lunch and then not being a queue?
Yeah. Oh my God. Can you imagine that? The little wins. That's like my favorite little win at the moment is when you go to the supermarket and you drive into the car park, you park your car, you come out, and the person who's parked in front of you's gone. So you don't have to reverse out. You can just drive straight out. That, I mean, if that was to happen on Valentine's Day, that would be the best Valentine's Day ever.
Who said romance was dead?
Well, I think there'd be a lot of people who agreed. We'll get emails and they'll all be backing me. They'll be like, yes, actually.
Do you genuinely believe? Are these all, again, emails that are written by your nan because she's made up about not sending you the Valentine's card, so she's going to support your public protest that nobody else believes?
This could be like the time when did we talk about this on the podcast recently about when Jeremy Beadle did a radio show on the radio that I was doing, and like the British TV presenter, and the bosses knew that no one was listening, so they went upstairs, created a load of fake email addresses, and sent him questions from them. God, it's a lot of admin, that, isn't it?
It's a lot. We just wouldn't bother, would we? Go, yeah, we got no list. We actually have got listeners.
I know, that's the thing. We have got real listeners, but the problem is, I'm not confident they'll agree with me. So that's my main.
Set up a change.org, thing and send it out there. But no, I got an email from a lovely guy called Paul Edmondson, who is one of our soulies, and I think it was on Friday. He said, I'm listening to this while I'm working, and it's really good. And I was really enjoying the Dylan section that we talked about, and I was just about to email you send you a message to say how much I enjoy Dylan as well. Just when you said, yeah, I'm not really a Dylan fan.
Oh.
He's like, Dan, you're a Dylan fan? Yeah. Oh, okay. But he did enjoy the show, and it was very nice of him to actually take the time to, send us a message. So if we do have the occasional listener, please do send us a note. It's kind of nice to hear what you like. Nice to hear what you don't like. Don't really care, if I'm honest. But it's nice to get a response, I suppose, isn't it?
It'd be nice to hear what you like, and I suppose it would be useful to hear what you don't like. But
it's not useful. Just discard that. Just go, nonsense, fake news. Get out there. I would probably go round and firebomb their house and stuff like that.
You'd be well within your rights as well.
Yeah, I think so. I would listen to Sting, Every Breath They Take, which is essentially the Stalker's Charter.
Mm-hmm.
Hunt them down like the dog they are.
Good. Taking a turn, hasn't
it? Did we go down there?
Apparently so. I don't know. I don't
know. Let's have a little bit of music to lighten the subject. Mm-hmm. I'm going to introduce you to, not personally, obviously, because that would just be weird if he just turned up here. A singer called Joshua Iden. I discovered him over the weekend. He's got a new EP coming out called Mum Still Does the Washing, and that's not the track we're playing, but it's well worth a listen. It's odd, but in a really, really creative way. When you discover a new artist that basically sounds like nobody or nothing you've ever heard. before. But this is his version of Talking Heads' Once in a Lifetime, which is kind of a gospel version as well. So that might help lighten the mood.
Good.
Tad.
Yourself living in a shotgun shack, and you may find yourself in another part of the world, and you may find yourself behind the wheel of a large automobile, and you may find yourself in a beautiful house with a beautiful wife, and you may ask yourself, well, I get here? How did I get here? How did I get here? How did I get here? How do I work this? And you may ask yourself, where is that large automobile? And you may tell yourself, this is not my beautiful house. And you may tell yourself, that is not my beautiful wife. How? Water is over. Water removing. There's water at the bottom of the ocean. Same as ever was. Same as ever was. Same as ever was. Same as it ever was. Same as it ever was. Same as it ever was. Same, same, same. You may ask yourself, where is that beautiful house? You may ask yourself, where does that highway go to? And you may ask yourself, am I right? Am I wrong? And you may say to yourself, my God, what have I done? My God, what have I done? How did I get here? What have I done? How did I get here? What have I done? How did I get here? What have I done? How did I get here? What have I done?
Oh, that was nice, wasn't it? Really
It
enjoyed
was,
that.
wasn't it? It's very, very different. So go and check out his other catalogue because some really interesting. It's a bit like the streets, a bit spoken word, but a bit political. It's just odd, but in a really going, oh, I like that level of odd. So another public service announcement here, not just two old geezers listening to music from a bygone area. We are trying to champion the new and the different as well.
I like it when someone sings or whatever in an accent that is not usual for you to hear like that. So, you know, obviously it's not a way of singing that is anyone, you wouldn't mix it up with anyone else, would you? And I like that. I was thinking the same about Roland Gift earlier when we played the Fine Young Cannibals. But how did he realize he could get that noise out of that mouth? And then obviously once you do, you're like, yes, I shall continue to do this. This is good.
Because it's a damn sick. Actually, this is a neat segue into the next item as well. So, accent. So, part of my, what do we say, New Year's resolutions, right, is to do more cultural stuff for me. Because I realise a lot of my hobbies are work related, and I'm trying to put a line between being Dan and being Dan the Soul. So on Friday night, I went to a brilliant talk at the Old Market, great little venue in Hove, with a chap called Alan Edwards, who's a PR man of some reputation for the last decade. So he was PR man for the Spice Girls, Amy Winehouse, The Who, Zeppelin. He did some work with Bob Marley. I mean, literally decades at the front of music journalism, and it was fascinating. Part of that, he explained that he was a Worthing lad, which is the town that I live in.
Oh, nice.
And he said the story where he was 15 or 16. He sat in a pub with his mate and decided to go trekking around India.
Okay.
Considering this was the early 60s.
Mm-hmm.
He mentioned the name of the pub, which is the Thieves' Kitchen, which is owned by a friend of ours and just round the corner.
Nice.
Big up the Thieves' Kitchen. But yeah, it was really these stories are great raconteur. And then the next night I had a bit of time to myself, so I went to watch Becoming Led Zeppelin, which is a new documentary about Led Zeppelin. So leading on, it was Robert Plant. He's a Brummie, he did not sing in his normal accent.
No, he most definitely did not.
No, but it was incredible stories of the last 40 years, how they came together. A little bit of a moan, right? So I'm in there and it's 5 o'clock, so it's lovely. There was a young person in front of me trying to video the film.
Oh no, what are you doing that for?
Yeah, so I told her off.
Yeah, good.
And she put the phone down. I thought, okay, take a photo of the titles, because the titles are quite good. But then literally she was directly there in my eye line. Yeah. And then she was trying to, and I was like, I'm not having this because my eyes are constantly drawn there. So I told her off. And then sit by the aisle, other side of the aisle, these two fellas. And halfway, they kept talking really loudly, and one was sat in front of the other. And I understand, there were some great performances and great, music and stuff like that. They go, oh, that was great, and that was great. And I kept talking, and I could feel my heckles rising. So I gave them a stern look, right? Didn't work. They carried on.
No.
So, I regular listeners know I do love my cinema, but I love my peace and quiet in the cinema. But they just kept on talking. So I lost it. And I was like, Bob, will you just shut up? Like really aggressively. Embraced my inner Cockney and just went, ugh. A couple of minutes later, they got up and left.
Yes. Success.
Well, no, not completely outside. They went out and then completely went to the other side of the cinema and sat down. Right. Did worry me because they were quite big lads. And I thought, I'm going to have an issue outside.
Yeah.
So I put my hood up and took me out of, because I'm big brave in a crowd, but on my own.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah. So it's like, don't go to cinema. Don't talk.
Like, if you want to talk about what you're watching, watch something at home where the only people you're disturbing are yourselves or people that who you wouldn't mind them going, look, shut up, because you've got like people, the lack of awareness of people when it comes to other people's enjoyment of things. It's like they just think, this is put on for me, this is my showing, despite all these other people here in the cinema. This is for me. I will choose when to talk. I will choose when it's okay to distract. And it's like, I can't believe people still do that. There's a non-written agreement, isn't there, that you'll respect each other's enjoyment of a film when you're together, or there should be anyway. And the fact that people can go, well, actually, what I'm saying to my friend is more important than anyone else.
It wasn't even a stage whisper. It was just loud. So, okay, you want to take a little notepad, write down, oh, that part of the film was really interesting. I particularly like that album or something, and save it for the pub afterwards.
Yeah, of course.
But it just continued and continued. And I think the older I get, the less tolerant I get. Well, I've gone from just tutting, right, to staring at people to now being, really loud outbursts. Like, I'm a little bit disappointed that nobody gave me a round of applause because it was obviously annoying everybody else around me, and they did not have the courage to stand up to be counted.
I mean, the round of applause would have then disrupted the film for more people, but whatever.
But I would have felt,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's your
forget them and their enjoyment.
Why are we so coy about calling that behavior out? We shouldn't be, should we? Because they're disrespecting everyone else by not letting them enjoy the film. It's not rude to then point it out and just go, you're in the wrong. Stop doing that. It's entirely what we should all be doing. But you're just like, oh, I don't want to cause a scene. Well, they've already caused a scene.
Yeah.
We're now going to end the scene.
Yeah. I just knew that it would, if they continued doing it, I would just get more and more angry, and I would miss the enjoyment of them. Yeah, I'm not a huge Led Zeppelin fan, but I knew nothing about them. I thought, actually, this is a really nice, beautifully put together documentary, and I'm here to learn. I'm here to enjoy it. You selfish ninnies, don't do it. So yeah, I'm just gonna tut and tell people off like a really grumpy old man.
With you, I'm with you on that one. I'd do this. Well, I say I'd do the same. Would I do the same? Not sure.
Conflict averse, but then you realise they're two and they're quite big lads.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to make me more conflict averse. Yeah,
it is. But then it's lucky I've got a really big hooded coat, so I put that on, stuck my chest out like I'm.
Yep.
Just in case I were waiting around the corner. I thought, well, I only live like 3 minutes away. I reckon I can run that if it comes to him.
Yeah. But then you have to dart around so they don't know where you live, because then they could save their revenge for a later date.
Would they though? Have we overthought this a little bit?
Oh yeah, overthinking is what I do the best. That's my forte, is to overthink things. That is true, isn't it? You really do. Like, although sometimes I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, basically, we had this dodgy builder a couple of years ago. I've probably moaned about this a lot on the podcast as well.
Yeah.
And I'm really overthinking. We spent a significant amount of money with him, and it was not a good job. And we did not spend any more. We left him without the last bit of money that he was expecting, but we never actually claimed the other back, never made an official complaint, never put anything public about how bad he was, because he was a big bloke and he knew where we lived, and I was slightly concerned he'd come around and do something terrible. So, and I'm still slightly concerned all these years later. So we haven't done that. So we were out of pocket where we shouldn't have been. In a normal society, we should have been able to go, that was terrible work. You owe us that money back, and we might have to take you to I don't know what the small claims court limit is, or whatever it is. Whatever legal redress there is, we would take that on. As it happens, we didn't pay him the rest of the money. He sent us a letter over Christmas going, you owe me this much and I'm going to take you to court. To which I did write back going, probably wouldn't end well for you if you did. So let's just leave it at this, right? Because I was trying to be reasonable, not stoke there, but obviously not spend any more money. Because
the fact that you replied.
Yeah, I thought I had to reply, because otherwise he would. I mean, I don't think any solicitor would take it on, because unless he didn't tell them the bits about where he ruined the house. But he would. He knew that he couldn't take us to court because he hadn't done the job properly. So, but I'm still, maybe I am overthinking it. Maybe he would just go, oh, okay, yeah, no, I did do badly. Maybe I do owe them some money, or fight it, but not make it personal.
Come round and you find that after Legoland, all your windows and your front door have been bricked up.
Yeah. So that's it. He's got access to tools and concrete. So maybe we'll just leave it where we did.
But that's intimidating, though, because he's a big bloke, and you go, no, but actually that behaviour is not acceptable, and you need people to stand up and be counted, or they continue to behave badly.
Yeah, Dan, do you want to come round and
sort them out?
Yeah, please.
That did used to happen, actually, when I was a kid. I remember there was a friend of mine, a lot bigger than me, the lovely Gab. I think he's still a listener, but he got bullied a few times. He moved from our town to another town, and I remember him calling me up and me having to go round to that town to sort out the bullies, even though I am about probably 6 stone and a lot smaller than him.
Right.
But you're not picking on my friend. So yeah, I'd go around and try and sort of, thankfully, nobody actually called me out of that behaviour, because some of the bullies were probably a lot bigger than I was.
Right. Yeah.
But because I was coming from a bigger town,
Mm-hmm.
the narrative around that was, I don't know. I don't like people like that take advantage. I'm always on the side of the underdog.
Mm-hmm.
And I think probably quite an, what's the word? Empath. I can't even say it.
Empath.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel people, but I also do potentially catastrophize things.
Mm.
And no, that thing might change into that, and then that might cause like a nuclear disruption, and then the world will come to the end. So maybe I should just shut up.
Yeah, catastrophizing is a real thing, isn't it? And you do try and you have to, in some ways, think 2 or 3 steps ahead of every decision you make, really.
Yeah.
But you've got to understand the worst possible case scenario won't happen in every situation. It could, technically it could.
Yeah.
But it's more likely that the answer to all your issues is somewhere in the middle. It's never going to be like the best possible situation. It's never going to be the worst possible situation. It's going to be somewhere in the middle. You don't have to like completely go crazy to try and protect yourself in the future or something like that. I don't know.
You go from 0 to a million. I remember there was, it was about 5 or 6. So we were out in Brighton for the day with his friend down the park, and he'd fell over and he'd got muddy trousers. I was like, oh, that happens. Like for him, it was like, I've got muddy trousers. I'm not going to be allowed on the bus, which means I'm not going to get home, which means I'm never going to see my dog again. And he went from that to that. And he was inconsolable. And I was like, that is so beyond the realms of what is actually going to happen.
Yeah.
But so how do you deal with it when your kids are catastrophizing? Well, I'm just going to pull yourself together, right? The odds on that is just not. How could I better handle those sort of situations?
Yeah, I don't know. And I wish I knew the answer, because it is all you can do is just say, I know this from my 46 years of existence.
Yeah.
That the worst possible scenario doesn't happen that often, really, in terms of all the things that happen every day. And it's very difficult to prove that, because if they will ask you, well, could this happen? You feel a compulsion to be truthful and say, yeah, technically it could happen, but it's not likely to happen. There's like a 1 in however many million chance of it happening.
There's still one, Dad. There's still one.
And that's the thing. And we've had this thing. So we're going on holiday in the summer, and we want to go somewhere abroad where we could fly, and it's going to be nice weather. Because we've just not had that chance for many, many years. We've not, we can sort of afford it now, so we're going to do it. But my son, because the last time he flew was when he was like 18 months or something, he has no memory of it. So he's like, oh my God, it's a plane. How does it stay in the air? What's going to happen? It's going to be a disaster. It's going to be... And you're like, well, I'm not going to tell you that plane crashes don't happen. But what I can tell you, it's very difficult to get the statistics through to someone, is that you will always hear about one when it's on the news. You hear about one every like year or 2 a year or whatever. That's what you hear about. And for those sort of flights that we're going on, you hardly ever hear about them. And if it had happened, you would hear about it on the news. So that is how minimal the danger is. I can't tell you, in all honesty, they never crash, but they as good as never crash. But it's very difficult to sell.
As good as, that's you're blinding with science and physics there, aren't you? It's as good as.
Yeah, and that's it. But we as a people, we struggle anyway, don't we, with statistics? We struggle, people's perception of crime is always way off, and their perception of benefit fraud is always well off. And
5 in every 2 people struggle with statistics.
So I've heard, and we really do. We just struggle to analyze what that means. and the chances of something happening, you know, when you're told you've got a medical chance of like 1 in 1,000, you're like, oh God, there's one, and the 1's in 1,000. But you're right, well, but you've got 999 chances of it not happening. But you know, you just focus on the bad thing. So maybe the answer is just to lie to children, just go, no, it never happens, they're fine.
Yeah. I've tried to build up like case studies of things. Oh, yo, do you remember when you thought that? And it didn't
Right.
happen, and it turned out really well. So just have those. But what was it? Actually, it was a few months ago when we were at an event, and Fatboy Slim was due to be there, and I said, "Look, I'd really want to meet him. Right? I think he'll like what Dadless Soul stands for." So it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. No. And we did meet him. Right? So because I got the photos, I told you. And then a few weeks ago, Norm sent us a photo of him rocking a Dadless Soul top. I was like, right, I told you months ago that I was going to get Norm wearing one of our T-shirts. It's like, you said it never, ever, ever happened. So, well, actually, here's proof.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what?
Yeah.
Still all this bad stuff over here that you didn't address.
Yeah. I think, I'm really starting to understand how a negative mindset can actually affect outcomes. And because you do say it's not worth doing that because it'll never happen.
Yeah.
You don't do it. And I'm really, really trying my absolute hardest to go, well, if there's a chance it could happen, let's do it. The worst that can happen is someone says no, right? That's the worst that can happen. And I wish that I'd adopted that earlier in my life. But I do see it sometimes, as you say, my kids, where they're like, oh, it's not worth it. That won't happen. It's like, well, it won't happen now. You're making it not happen by not doing anything about it. So you go in, try, see if you can do it, see if you can make it happen.
Yeah.
If it doesn't happen, fine. You're still in the same position you were. But if it does happen, you're doing all right, aren't you?
Yeah. You have the choice to change things.
Yeah.
But
Or at least, you know, you've got to have some skin in the game to change things. Because if you don't ever try, the things won't ever happen. That's true. Okay.
I find people like that, those are really draining, like mood hoovers. So, no, but can you just it's and it takes, again, this is where I get my angry cinema dad. Just do that thing, just that bit of that thing, that water. No. And but if you, like I say, you carry on that mindset throughout your life. I remember, actually, was it probably, well over 20 years ago, there's a lovely book by Danny Wallace called The Yes Man, which was turned into a Jim Carrey film. So he's a guy, middle-aged, stand-up comedian, and he got into a routine of not doing anything, not going out. When people invited to the pub, no. And he just made a challenge, a sort of silly boy bet, as he calls him, for a year. He was just going to say yes to things. And he went quite dramatically, yes. But I read that, and it really resonated with me at the time. And I changed my mindset, and I started saying yes to more social events.
Right.
And actually completely, opened up my world. I've met people that I'm still in touch with, had amazing events. But it was like, just say yes. Not to everything, but you've got to make the effort. Otherwise, you're stuck in the same position, moaning, oh, nothing good ever happens. Nothing goes on. It's rubbish. I'm just fat. I'm old. And it's frustrating.
And I think I've talked about before the attitude where you'll agree to do something, you'll be excited about it. Then as you get closer to it happening, you're like, oh God, why am I doing this? Oh God. And there's a point where you get to the lowest point where you're like, I just probably won't go. And
everything in your social calendar, essentially.
That's it. But actually, you end up going. If you do force yourself to go, chances are you're going to have an all right time and do something fun and do something interesting and enjoy it. And even if you don't have to do it again, do you? You're not committing to living on a desert island for 60 years. But if you are doing that, do think carefully about it. But mostly, it's going to meet some people or see a thing, isn't it? And you're like, well, let's do it. Let's try it. And then we may find the next best thing in our life, or we may have a terrible time, but it doesn't matter because in 3 hours' time it'll be done and we'll be back home. And then we can decide from there, having actually had knowledge of the thing, whether we want to do it again or not.
So you can build a case study that you can argue with your dad when he tries to get you to do something positive. No, because I tried that once and my arm fell off.
Oh yeah, no.
So,
yeah, I'll ignore that one. Won't bring that one in.
Yeah, who's a bit like this talk I went to on Friday with Alan Edwards. Oh, it's cold, it's dark, I've got to go to a different town, going to be on my own, people are going to stare at me. Actually, I don't care. Brilliant. I don't have to talk to anybody. I can just enjoy this. And I end up having a really lovely conversation with the lass beside me, who I never would have met. So can we, actually, leading on from the Alan Edwards bit, can we have a song, please? So I'm embracing, because of his Led Zeppelin and all the tales that he told me over the weekend, I've been getting my rock thing on. So I want to embrace a little bit of The Who, if we could, please.
All right. The song that should be called Teenage Wasteland, but isn't for some reason. Who knows why they made that decision? It'll be on the Wikipedia. I'm going to look at it on Wikipedia while we're playing.
Tell us.
Barbara O'Reilly.
Boom.
I found out the information if you want to know.
Go on then.
So the reason that it's called Teenage Wasteland and not Baba O'Reilly, it's called Baba O'Reilly and not Teenage Wasteland, is because it's from a rock opera that Pete Townsend was writing called Lifehouse, and there was another song called Teenage Wasteland on it, and this was meant to just like be referring to that song, but then they cut the other song from the rock opera, so it doesn't actually make any sense. But it's called Baba O'Reilly because it's named after a spiritual leader called Mayor Baba and a composer called Terry Riley. And the O bit is because there's like kind of Irish fiddle sound in it that makes it sound kind of Irish. So there you go. Facts from the internet. So, you know, whether they're true or not, who knows?
We just made that all up as well. ChatGPT, give us an incredible story that actually sounds relatively true. For those that are listening rather than watching, you would have missed Pete Townsend absolutely punched the hell out of his tambourine. Like, that was not a gentle shake. He was hammering it away, wasn't he?
Oh yeah. No, exactly. That it's like that tambourine had done something to him in a previous life, and he was trying to get some retribution.
Yeah, beat me like I owe you money. When I was embracing my inner rock god, I was trying to find a clip from the Who. So I think it was '96. They did their first of comeback deal, and it was a massive gig at Hyde Park. They were doing Quadrophenia live for the first time in 20 odd years.
Wow.
There's a mod and a Quadrophenia obsessor. Have to go, but I'd never been to a gig that big. It was 150,000 people.
Whoa.
And I was like, whoa. So went with a group of pals, got tickets, had an amazing time. But on that lineup, right, as well as the Who, Clapton, Dylan, some bloke out of Hollyoaks, Alanis Morissette. It was literally boom, 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 boom. And it was 10 quid, right?
Whoa.
And I remember sitting there going, oh, Dylan, Clapton, and there was just all these people crying while he did, you know, is it in the air? It's not in. That's
Wonderful Tonight.
Yeah, Wonderful Tonight, and all of that. So just get to Quadrophenia. But there's a bit in there. Roger Daltrey comes on, and he's got a target patch over one eye, like a really odd pirate. And the story is apparently while they were rehearsing, he was rehearsing with Gary Glitter, and Gary Glitter was swinging his microphone around. And he got Roger straight in the face and blacked his eye. Right. So they were on. Gary Glitter was also on that lineup. Now viewing the world through different things, bit dodgy, but yeah. So I couldn't find a clip of Baba O'Reilly at Hyde Park. You know, I was actually at that gig. Well, it's cool enough because Roger Daltrey had a patch over his eye, and all I could think is, he got smacked in the eye by an nonce.
Well,
in the memory.
Yeah, that will stick in your memory, definitely. Oh wow, yeah. So that's like, those are the things that are interesting, aren't they? When there's something different about it. They're not doing the same show they've done every day. You know, there's something different about it, and that's to have been there at that time. That must have been
10 quid with my best friends at the time. Many of whom I hadn't probably seen in donkey's years, but it was a moment. And I think it was a door opening for me psychologically. Look, wow, because 150,000 men, I'm going to get lost. I'll get murdered by big boys. I won't be able to find the toilet. I'll get lost. Blah, 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 and catastrophized it. I was like, you know what? It's 10 quid. It's the Who. Just go.
Yeah,
and I did, and it was incredible. So that sort of gave me the confidence to go to more festivals and gigs and go, you know, if I can be in 150,000 people. Mind you, quite a lot of that crowd were a lot older than me as well. So they weren't exactly raucous. You know, I can do those sort of things. So, if your kids do start worrying and catastrophize, go, well, Uncle Dan went to the Who in '96 and he was fine. They go, don't care, don't even know who he is. And who are the Who?
That's, they would be like that, yeah. I mean, it's pre-mobile phone as well, really, isn't it? Or, you know, how do you, that's the thing. You have to just find the people that you were with and remember where they were. Like, you always had to go, okay, where's the sound desk? Okay, there. Then they're 12 rows over and 13 lines down, and then
this was in a field. So it was Hyde Park. So they could have just got up and left while I went to the toilet.
Oh yeah, no, I suppose so. But I even when, you know, like in a field where it's, I always think like kind of how many sort of rows of people are you, and I try and work that out. And then I know it's not an exact science. And I'm glad I've got a phone now, so I can just ring them and go, "Where are you?" And they'll go,
And they get no signal because there's too many people.
Yeah.
But that's also I did have a camera, so I've got a couple of moody black and white shots. But yeah, people were just enjoying the moment as opposed to continuously filming it. And you see the now and then shots. So you'll see, an Ibiza rave now, which all you can see is people just stood there with their phones. And then 30 years ago, there obviously was no phone, and people were just in the moment.
In the moment, living their best healthy lifestyles with nothing to inform that healthy lifestyle. They were just dancing. Just they had a lot of energy. That's how they did it. They were energetic.
They'd had a lot of Lucozade.
Yes,
I've noticed that with quite a lot of the gigs to go to. If it's a slightly older crowd, there are less mobile phones. Because people are just there to enjoy it, and they're not used to. There'll be a few, obviously, but just to try and capture the entire gig and then put it on your socials. Nobody's going to watch it.
No, not even you. That's the thing. Like, who watches videos back that they've done of a show to go, "Oh yeah, I really enjoy this"? Never. You're never going to watch it. Your friends aren't going to watch it. Strangers on the internet aren't going to watch it and like it. So save your time.
Yeah,
save your
just
battery.
go and actually hang out, enjoy the music, enjoy the moment.
Living in the moment.
We do. What's going on with Dad La Soul? Shall we give the boys and girls an update?
Yeah, let's do it.
He's so enthusiastic. Yeah, things.
Well, we've got next week. It's all about Worthing, isn't it? Next week, that's what it's happening. Worthing.
Yep.
Dad's Only.
We've got the Dad's Only coming up. We're doing some filming on the 21st for our maths rap video. So if you're in the Worthing area and it's half term, you want something to do, head towards the Lido, 12 o'clock. That's an exclusive. Sam Delaney's booked for the next month. So lovely Guardian journalist, author, podcaster. He's coming along. We had our first Dads versus Kids Nerf war over in Brighton on Saturday, which was packed out and sold out within, I think, 24 hours.
Amazing, isn't it?
So yeah, it's going on, and you continue to have very good guests on the Dad La Soul sessions as well, don't you?
Yes, I do. Yeah. So I had recently, I had Charlotte Albrecht from the Early Birth Association, and she was fascinating. She really had a fascinating thing to say about what it's like to be the parent of a child that arrives early, and obviously everything's concentrated on the baby first of all, and then the mum after that. But there are dads as well involved, and it's tough. It's a really tough thing to do, and to just be waiting around. You don't get much access, and things that they can do to make life easier for the parents on those wards while they're rushing off to work to come back to spend all night kind of looking at their child through a incubator or whatever it is. It's if you've never had to go through it, which thankfully I have never had to go through it, you can't imagine until you hear the stories about it. So that's still available on our YouTube and our other channels, so go and watch that. You've also got the chance to hear Nicole Ratcliffe talk about sleep and how to make sleep better from the month before for both adults and for children. And we're going to be talking the start of March about this new Dad's Hub, which I'm going to find out more information about, and we'll inform you next time we do this show. I'll have more information on it and tell you about our guest for the start of March.
Dr. Anna Tarrant.
That's it. But,
most esteemed research academic, clever soul in the fatherhood space in the UK. She's also a thoroughly decent human being as well. So yeah, she's done some incredible work over the last decade up in the northeast, studying young dads in Grimsby and Newcastle and stuff. And then she's put together this amazing hub of all of these other sort of dad support networks and stuff, of which we are obviously one. So yeah, there's some good things coming, and it shows that actually our work, even though we are based in this little sleepy town in Sussex, is resonating throughout the UK and further afield as well, which is always, it's always a nice thing to hear.
Yeah, that's it. The work goes on and people notice and they get involved.
The power of showing up. Isn't it? It's like doing these shows, but then you go, nobody listens, nobody cares. Why do we even bother? So, well, I bother because I need to spend a couple of hours of my working week thinking of duos from the 70s and 80s to insult you with, because that is probably one of the high points. That's why, that's why I do this, not to help or entertain or do anything like that.
No, that's just a nice offshoot, right? It's just the insulting.
I think, they say, it's called bants. No, it's just bullying, Dan. And you've been reported to HR on more than one occasion.
Yeah, good. It's all written down. It's documented.
Come your pay review. It's going to get really, really awkward. Actually, have you ever been in a really bad performance review meeting?
No, I've had contract negotiations which have been horrible.
That sounds quite high class. Contract, was it your people talking with their people?
No, it was me talking to their people.
Being conflict averse and going, they're not going to pay me what I'm worth. 35 quid, that seems reasonable. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there was no negotiation about that, clearly. But actually, what did get good was it was a certain radio group where I realized that what they always did was they offered initially 10% under what they were willing to pay. So as long as you would add that extra 10, and sometimes I'd go like 20% higher and they'd go, well, let's meet in the middle. I'd be like, absolutely fine. Yeah, okay. Sometimes I'd go straight for the 10% and they'd go, yeah, all right, that's it. And it was only through like a bit of negotiation you realize this is the same thing they do every time. I know exactly what they are going to pay me based around what they offer me in the first place. And there's a little trick there. If you can spot a pattern, if you do percentages, you could spot that pattern.
Or you can just stand up really dramatically, chuck a stapler in her face and say, take your job and stick it. I'm out of here. Peace.
I mean, yeah, you could. I wouldn't.
You're so conflict averse, aren't you? What's wrong with a stapler to the temple?
You're drunk on power now, aren't you? That's it. You've done it. You're drunk on power. I've done it. I've told some people off in the cinema. Now I need to do it wherever I go.
It's listening to The Who. It's just got me really, really. So, well, if I was going boxing, that would be my walking. Teenage waiter. No, you're a 51-year-old man. Shut up. I'm not 50 and a half. I'm not 51 quite yet.
Almost.
Yeah, I know. Too soon. Look, can we have a musical interlude and then we'll get the love vibes on before we wish the boys and girls farewell?
Yeah, we can do. Yeah, that sounds good.
So, Prince, which was another guy that this lovely Alan Edwards was a PR man. He was talking about the 21 dates that Prince did in the UK in 2007.
Yes, yeah.
Stunning. I got tickets to that, and I think we were about 3 or 4 roads back, so we could see really clearly. He was in my eye line, and Prince was just astonishing. As if there's anybody that could turn me, it would be him. He was just so sexy. He could have walked up to anybody in that audience, right? Even if he's been married years, I'm just going to take your partner with me. Yeah, that's absolutely fine, Prince. This is more than reasonable. You are just beautiful inside and out and ridiculously talented. Please take the love of my life. You deserve her more than I do.
Fair enough. Here we go.
I got a real good friend of mine in this building tonight. And he is one of the most amazing artists to ever walk the earth. Y'all, stand up. Welcome my friend, Prince.
since you took your love away.
Since you've been gone, I can do whatever I want. I can see whoever I choose. Whoever. Eat my dinner at a fancy restaurant. But see nothing, nothing,
been so lonely without you here, like a bird without a song. Nothing can stop these lonely tears from falling. Tell me, Mary, where did Prince go wrong?
oh, baby. I can put my arms around every boy I see, but they only remind me of you. Yeah.
Y'all heard it?
See, I went to the doctor.
Wait a minute.
Guess what he told me?
What'd he tell you?
Guess what he told me? He said, "Mary, you gotta have fun no matter what you do."
What you do? Nothing compares. Nothing compares to you. Y'all mind if I play this thing? Can I play this thing? All the flowers that you planted, Mary, oh, in the backyard, sugar, they all died when you went away. Yes, they did.
I know that living with me, baby, is sometimes hard. It's sometimes hard. But I'm willing to live it on.
I bet y'all can sing it. I bet y'all can sing it. Sing it for Mary. Come on. Yeah, one more.
To you.
Whoa, decent, wasn't it?
It was all right. The only thing that lets that down, right, for those watching the video, is what the hell has Prince got on his face, right? It looks like a giant gold spectacles that you couldn't see through. It looked like a 4-year-old had done some crafting, and let's wear it. But obviously, he's an amazing musician, sartorially, I can't even say it, very well dressed normally. But who advised him? Yeah, Prince has a really good look. Gold giant sunglasses.
Yeah, completely opaque.
Yeah.
No idea. Absolutely no idea. So Mary J. Blige, Prince together on that.
Apparently, he was very, very shy, according to Alan Edwards. So when they did that 21 date run in London, what do obviously every night was packed out. The roadies would put him into a packing case, right, and they'd wheel him through the crowds.
Nice.
Beforehand, he would make sure that everybody turned up, all of his staff in shirts and ties and suits.
Mm-hmm.
Very James Brown, because they all represented him. But yeah, they would wheel him through the crowd, and people would go, "Oh, it's a roadies and it's a packing case." And they take him on the stage, and then he would pop out. Like, apparently, one night they got a bit mixed up, and they put the packing case with him in it at the wrong entrance, and he nearly got flown off somewhere else.
Whoa, yeah, like ended up in San Francisco or something, going
Bradford.
But it could have been like Prince in Bradford. Sounds like a film that we could
make that up as a real Wikipedia. There was that one night where the roadies put Prince in a packing case, and he ended up in Bradford.
Leeds Bradford Airport, but he couldn't get a taxi back because services sometimes.
And the parking is outrageous.
They got rid of the free 30 minutes. You had a free 30 minutes to go and pick people up, but they got rid of that. You have to pay just to pick someone up. It's outrageous.
How very dare they? Again, another public service announcement for our listeners across the pond. Don't go to Leeds Bradford Airport because they rip you off. But again, this will not be added into the section that Jim's going to present to the Yorkshire Tourist Board.
No, I'll pick and choose what I send. Yeah. Anyway, but it's a decent airport and it's right, like close to where I live, so it's handy.
What more do you need on the poster? It's near to Jim's gaff.
Yeah. I mean, no, it's not a big selling point for anyone else except me. Although there was, a few years ago, we went. The last time my son went abroad when he was about 18 months, we went to get a taxi in the middle of the night to go to the airport, and the people from across the road were doing the same thing, and they were on the same flight as us as well. We were all going up to Leeds Bradford Airport at the time. Now, we could have let them, we had quite a big taxi. We could have let them come in ours as well, but we didn't. No.
But you did not, they did not know that. It was just a weird coincidence.
It was just a weird coincidence. Yeah, we'd not talked to them about it at all. But then, what happened was it was actually a little bit annoying because we got there, both got there. And then, when you're in the queue and you have to go up one way and then down another and up one way and down the other. Yeah. So we'd have to keep passing them as well. So, hi.
Oh, yeah. That puts my anxiety through there. Oh, I've forgotten what to say to you. I'm on holiday to get away from you.
Yeah, exactly.
This is
really all the time.
Yeah. But if I would also question that, you're quite well known in the neighborhood watch WhatsApp group for the bloke that stares through the curtains.
I mean,
right. So you probably found out, you got a lip reader when that woman was on her phone booking her cab.
That's right.
There is a darker side to you, Jim. There was a darker side to Elvis, a darker side to Prince, and there's a darker side to you. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it is the people who live opposite whose dog sits in the window, and I kind of sometimes have a look at through the window.
Again, mildly entertaining.
Like we're workmates, me and the dog. Hi.
This is a recognition of social isolation while working from home.
Exactly. Yeah. It can really happen.
Speak to his pooch next door.
Right. Yeah.
Are we done?
I think we're done.
So that has been 1 hour, nearly 2 hours of the Who, of the specials, of Mary J, of Joshua Iden, of Valentine's tips, of political intrigue and concerts from a bygone age. Well worth a lunchtime listen or Saturday morning listen if you're on the Face Radio. Turn it up in the kitchen while you're putting on the sorting out the roast potatoes.
Good news.
Isn't it? Follow us at Dad the Soul on all of the socials. Do watch this, share it, and as we mentioned earlier, send us something so we know that somebody is listening. Even if it's just I did this for Valentine's Day, and we will give you a shout out and credit. Or if you forgot Valentine's Day and oh Christ, I'm skint, what do I do? Send us a note and we'll read it out next time and make a public declaration of love for you.
Yes. Please do get in contact. We'd love to hear from you.
Until next week, boys and girls. Peace out.